Welcome back to my explanation of all the F1 vocabulary. You guys really seem to enjoy part 1.
Sensational.
So by popular demand, today I'm going to do the same thing. For reference, last time we went over driving, pit stops, tyres, and radio. Whereas today, I'll be covering aerodynamics, rules, and strategy. Oh, and just like in the last video, this will not be like school. I got you, G, don't worry.
But that's boring.
Instead, it'll be entertaining, and you're actually going to learn something. And don't worry if you're a fairly new F1 fan, or if you haven't watched the last video.
What the fuck?
I'm certain that every single type of F1 fan will be able to learn something from this video. I'll also be sure to go over some of the terminology you guys asked me to in the comments. On that note, if you still look like the thinker by the end of the video, feel free to drop a friendly or a not so friendly comment so I can do it next time around. But that's it for the intro today. Make sure you're paying attention as well because there will be a test at the end. With that out of the way, let's get straight into aerodynamics with the first term of the day being the slipstream. Basically, the slipstream is F1's equivalent of tailgating. How it works is that if you position your car in the low drag air pocket directly behind the driver in front of you, you will get a speed boost. Here's an example of Lewis doing it. He's positioned himself behind this car and now he has a slipstream, so he can overtake 3 cars in one go here. On that note, there's another term that gets thrown around just as much as the slipstream, but it's not the same thing, and that is the toe. Well, not this type of toe. All a toe is a type of slipstream, but it's a deliberate slipstream.
Commander, I will not attack.
This will commonly occur on F1 circuits that either lack creativity or have excessively long straights due to poor design choices. A perfect example of this is from the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix that happened on the weekend. You may have noticed that in qualifying, everyone was using toes in order to improve their lap times. And sure, some of you can say this happens in every qualifying session. No, this is exactly what you get when you build a concrete jungle for an F1 track using a bunch of other things that I can't say on YouTube. Bottom line is, no one likes the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and if you're gonna keep talking about inclusivity in Formula 1, well, yeah, I don't think so, buddy. Okay, no more yap about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, next term. So DRS, meaning drag reduction system, is basically just an amplified slipstream. How it works is the rear wing of the car will open up, making you go faster, sometimes 10 to 12 kilometers faster down a straight. But there is a catch.
Is this Daddy Doc?
You're only permitted to use DRS if you're within 1 second of the driver ahead of you, and you're only allowed to use it in specific DRS zones. You're also allowed to use it in qualifying, but the main purpose is to spice up the race. Okay, but these 3 are the main terms you need to understand aerodynamics. Now I'm going to go into some more niche ones. The next term I'll be talking about is downforce. I'm going to try my very best not to make this sound like a physics lecture, okay? Trust me here. All it is a vertical force that pushes the car down onto the track, which increases grip. Think of this like some 5-year-old pushing his Hot Wheels car against the ground. It is not going to lift up because of how much force is going down on the car. Downforce is the same thing, more or less. Now that you know what downforce is, I can explain what the ground effect is. And no, I'm not making this up. It is called the ground effect. The main concept here is it's basically a type of voodoo aerodynamic magic in which the car's floor sucks it closer to the ground. The engineers achieved this by shaping the car's underbody to create low pressure zones because this will generate a lot of downforce without increasing the drag. If that still sounded like gibberish, here's another way to picture it. Imagine that you have a Dyson and it's stuck beneath the F1 car and it just sucks it towards the ground. Okay, good job making it this far into the aerodynamics section. I know it's confusing. There's only one term left here though, and that's porpoising. I'm going to keep this short. All this means is that when the car starts violently bouncing up and down at a straight, it looks like a dolphin jumping through the water. The physics behind this one are relatively straightforward, as the airflow underneath the car is not consistent, so the downforce is coming and going, resulting in a bounce, 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 bounce. Okay, but that's everything I've got for the aerodynamics section. Now it's time to move on to the rules. So rules in F1 are not very straightforward. It's not like don't drink at work, that's bad. It's more like Article 32.2b paragraph 7 says you can't reverse into the pit lane backwards wearing socks on a Tuesday morning. This is thanks to everyone's favorite F1 entity, the FIA, meaning Federation Internationale Automobile. This is the ruling overlord of F1. So rather than explaining their full rulebook, which you can find the boring PDF, I'm gonna go over a few of the essential rules you'll probably want to know. Rule 1, parc fermé. This is French for you're not allowed to touch shit, bro. This is because after qualifying, the car setup gets locked. Another way to envision this is like a MasterChef competition, in the sense that you have a set amount of time to make your dish, and once time runs out, Gordon will scream at you if you touch it.
Oh my god, kill yourself!
Right, rule 2, track limits equals stay inside the white lines. Revolutionary stuff, I know, but drivers seriously cannot get this one in the bag sometimes.
Okay, Max, that was a 3rd stroke on
track limits.
Now I'm quickly going to go over all the types of flags. A yellow flag means that Lance Stroll had a spin. A double yellow flag means that Lance Stroll is in the wall. A red flag means that Lance Stroll has gone through the wall and has crashed into an apartment complex. A red flag will temporarily stop the race, whereas yellow flags can bring out the safety car. All you really need to know about the safety car is that no overtaking is allowed behind it.
That's stupid.
We've also got blue flags that mean you're being lapped.
Timmy, get out of the f***ing way!
The only other flags I'll describe are the black and white flag, which means if you keep doing what you're doing, you will get penalized, and the black flag, which means you're disqualified. Get out of the car and go home. The final aspect of the rules that I'll go over is that of penalties. The most common type of penalty is a time penalty, and you'll see this sometimes for dangerous driving, track limits, or if your name is Esteban Ocon. Drivers will serve this in the pit stop, or they'll add it on at the end of the race. Also, if drivers make too many oopsies throughout the season and accumulate 12 penalty points, they can have a race ban, which happens to Kevin Magnussen last year. I'm sure some of you know that Max is already on 8 out of 12 points. Will he get banned later in the season? Let me know in the comments below. Well, congratulations for making it to today's final section of strategy. Let's get right into it with the first term of plan A, B, and C. So from time to time, you've probably heard the drivers on the radio saying that they want to swap to plan B. And no, this is not them switching their dinner reservations. What these plans are essentially strategy maps for the race, plan A being the default and B and C being alternatives should there be rain or a crash. You should also know that some teams' plan B is simply, oh, let's just do the opposite of what Max does. I'm looking at you, Ferrari. Anyhow, the next term is energy harvesting, and all this is the F1 cars will harvest energy from braking using ERS systems, and then they'll release it as an extra boost down the straights. This extra boost is known as overtake mode, so once drivers have harvested energy around the circuit, they can deploy it to overtake another driver and be the fastest guy on the track for a split second. If you're still confused, think of this as the cheat codes in some of those Lego games from back in the day. Only this time the speed boost will last for a short amount of time and then they have to go harvest more energy again. The last strategy term I'll cover is the pit crossover point. F1 teams will model this like it's NASA level mathematics, but it's really not that deep. All it is the moment when switching to a different tire compound becomes faster than staying out on your current tire compound. But that's it for strategy. Now it's time to go over some of the comments that you guys dropped under the last video. Comment 1. What is opposite lock? In my opinion, opposite lock is just a fancy way of saying counter steering. That's because both of these terms essentially mean when the rear slides one way, the driver will steer the opposite way to correct it. Okay, comment 2. Marbling. This just refers to the little pieces of rubber that shred off the tires during the race, and they look like little marbles. And to answer your question, drivers will deliberately pick up these little marbles, dirt, and other shit at the end of the race to make sure that their car is over the minimum weight. If not, they'll be disqualified, just like in China. But that's all I got today. Thank you so much for watching. I want to get this video out before the weekend, so class dismissed. No quiz today. If you enjoyed, I can always do a part 3, but I won't do it next week as I want to switch gears. But yeah, thanks again for watching.
I'm driven. I'm obsessed. And that's what you see.